What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to shoot a quick video, just sharing kind of my views on this Me Too movement that's going on, and it's literally blowing up social media and mainstream media. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with the subject, even though I don't know how that would be the case. It's basically predominantly women that are coming out and across various careers, whether it's in the media or Hollywood or business or whatever, and they're coming out with allegations that there's inappropriate sexual conduct or demeaning behavior from typically men in powerful positions. So some of the big ones that you might have heard of, Harry Weinstein, Matt Lauer, Bill Cosby, Kevin Spacey, Donald Trump. There's literally probably a laundry list of other people that are on that list that have a bunch of accusers coming forth, and now having the strength to actually say what happened. And this is a movement I'm to be honest really proud of. Having a baby girl that's about to turn 1 year old here. I couldn't imagine her being in a situation where she had to perform sexual favors to get a job or get a promotion or get hired or not get fired, whatever the case may be. And so it's a great thing, in my opinion, that these women, and it really started with just the first handful that really stepped up. And obviously in the Bill Cosby case, it was that first one or two that came out, and those few that came out initially gave strength and power to the other ones that were in similar situations. So we have to really, as a society, embrace this new culture. It's not acceptable to live in a world where people aren't treated right. People aren't like Martin Luther King Jr. said, people should be judged by the content of their character. People should be getting hired based on their own merits, not their ability to give a blowjob or have sex with somebody. So I'm really proud of all these women stepping up, and there just has to be a huge revolution and a changing of the guard in society, where that stuff is no longer acceptable, where paying people hush money to go away isn't the norm. Everybody needs to be treated with respect, because just think, if it was somebody in your family, if it was your mom or your sister or your cousin or your best friend that was in that situation, how would that make you feel? So if you're observing these behaviors, and even as a guy, if you work in an environment or you're in a culture and you're seeing these acceptable behaviors, take a stand against it, because if you don't step up, you're part of the problem. And actually recently I was reading an article where Quentin Tarantino, in reference to Harry Weinstein, he knew about these behaviors. I don't think he physically observed them happening, but he was aware of this conduct and these behaviors. And now, years later, he looks back at it and regrets his inaction, because inaction just allows the problem to continue. So step up for those amazing women in your life, and just say enough is enough, and this isn't acceptable. It's not an acceptable double standard where one sex is treated one way and the other sex is treated one way. It's not acceptable anymore to be like, oh, that's just locker room talk, or that's boys being boys. Like, there was actually my wife is a part of some different moms groups and stuff on Facebook, and she shared this story with me the other day, where it was, how old was that girl, babe? Like 2 years old or something? It was a 2-year-old girl that was playing on a playground, and she was out of the line of sight of her mom, and she heard her daughter crying and screaming and saying no. And basically there was a couple of older boys, like 4 or 5 years old, that were literally like pinning her down, taking off her clothes, I think in their words, like making sexy or something like that. And that's not okay. That's you know, whether you're 4 or 5 or whether you're 55 or 80, you know, that's not acceptable behavior for anybody to be imposing their will on somebody else like that. You know, we have to respect other people's wishes. So, you know, I think it's a great thing, and you know, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution, and you know, you definitely want to be on the right side of history on this one. So that's kind of my 2 cents, guys. Cheers.